Righto, gang, we are live with our first live stream. Can't wait to get into our first live stream. Welcome, everybody, to all of our viewers coming down today. We're going to break down a franchise topic every single Thursday. We're going to break down a new franchise topic, with the first one today about royalty fees, probably one of the underestimated things in any franchise network. We're going to talk about royalty fees explained. I'm going to explain everything that you need to know about royalty fees and what franchise owners need to pay when it comes to royalty fees. Because I'm going to be honest with you, one of the most underestimated thing, I take a lot of franchise discovery calls with people interested in franchising. Not many people ask about the royalty fee. It's always about the initial investment. Hey, how much is the initial investment? What does it cost? How much am I looking at? But the royalty fee is an ongoing payment that's paid throughout the lifetime of your franchise agreement. So if it's something that's going to be paid consistently, that's going to affect your profit and loss statement, that's going to be paid throughout the lifetime of your franchise agreement to the franchisor, don't you think that's something that you're going to need to know, right? Don't you think it's important? Of course it is. It's the most important element in a franchise, but nobody asks about it, right? Everyone wants to know what the initial investment is. So today's video is going to be all about royalty fees and everything you need to know. And I also want to make something clear as well. Just because a franchise company has a higher royalty fee doesn't necessarily mean it's a red flag. You're probably thinking, you know what, I'm going to shop around for the franchise that has the lowest royalty fee in the network. No, that's not necessarily true. In fact, if they've got a low royalty fee, that might be a red flag. That means they're not taking any of that money and investing it into the business. It's another common mistake or a common thing that I hear. So we're going to be talking about that as well. Let's start off today's live stream video by explaining what are royalty fees. So what are royalty fees? In any franchise agreement, I don't know any franchises that don't have a royalty fee. Most franchises have a royalty fee. And what that is it's an ongoing fee that you as a franchisee pay to the franchisor. And there's actually 3 different types. We're going to talk about it later. But just at a basic level, it is an ongoing fee that you, the franchisee, pay to the franchisor. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, Emil, why do I need to pay for a royalty fee? I'm investing a big investment, 30, 40, 50 grand into a franchise. Why do I need to pay an ongoing fee to the franchisor? It's probably what you're asking. Great question. So pretty much, guys, if you're joining a franchise, the franchisor has created all the intellectual property, all the brand, all the systems, all the technology, everything that you're going to be leveraging from day one. That's the fee that you're paying to them. Plus, there's going to be a whole bunch of support. As a franchisee, wouldn't you say you're going to need to be supported throughout your whole franchise journey, from signing the agreement to when you leave? Franchisor spends a lot of money on support. So the royalty fee covers that. But at a fundamental level, team, what this is you're paying a fee to the franchisor, kind of as a thank you for all the support that they offer you, hopefully offer you. Not every franchise offers support, or at least they say they do. All the intellectual property, all the systems, all the technologies they've built. And believe me when I say this, because I'm a franchisor now, our payroll expenses for support is our highest expense. The systems that we've built, the website, the back end, all of that has costed hundreds and thousands of dollars. That's a lot of money. It's not a little bit of money. It is a lot over time. So the royalty fee is an ongoing fee that's paid. Now, first point I want to talk about is what good and bad franchisors do with royalties. Let me tell you what the good franchisors use for royalties. So we use our royalties to improve our systems, support our franchisees, right? Invest in marketing, brand growth, and strengthen our network over time. So we take the royalty fees and we invest it into the business to get stronger. I'll give you a classic example. Right now, all of our franchisees, we're moving to a VPN, a virtual private network. It's like a safe and secure platform for all of our franchisees to access the back-end website. That's costing us $3,000. Who's paying for that $3,000? The franchisees or us, head office? No, we are. Head office is paying for that $3,000 fee to get a virtual private network. That's an example of what the royalty fees cover, the ongoing payment. That's improvement in our IT, improvement in our systems and technology. Now, let's talk about bad franchisors, what they will use the royalties for. Usually, most of the time, they're funding a lifestyle. Maybe they're paying for their wages, or even worse, maybe they're not investing at all into the business. They're not investing into new systems, into new technology, into new marketing initiatives. Like, you've got to be really careful if you're looking at investing in a franchise and they've got no social media presence. You speak to a franchisee and they haven't tried a new initiative in a year. You've got to be very careful. That might be an indicator that they're taking the royalty fees and it's going right into the back pocket of the directors or the founders, and they're not using it at all to reinvest, right? So just remember, the good franchisors, they invest the royalties back into the business. The bad franchisors, they put it right back into their pocket. Now, let's talk about point number 2. 3 types of royalty fees that you need to know. So in any network, it's usually 3 different types. You've got the fixed percentage model on sales. That's the first one. Number B, or point B, is a fixed royalty fee, and C is a hybrid model, right? Simple. Let's go through the first one. So the first one is a percentage on sales, and this is pretty much what we operate as a network. Our royalty fee is 10% of sales. Very simple. If you make $1,000, what's 10% of $1,000? Hey, I'm not quizzing you here. It's pretty easy. That's $100. So if you make $1,000, 10% of that will come to us. That's $100. Very simple, purely on percentage. It's on, not profit. So whatever you make top line, head office gets 10%, right? That's the first element of the royalty fee. That's the percentage-based model. Now, I love this model because if my franchisees aren't making no money, then we don't make any money, right? If they're turning over $0, we get 0%. We get 10% of $0, which is 0. That's why I love that model. But on the contrary, if our franchisees are doing very well and they're killing it, turning $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, then we're getting better. We're making more royalty fees on that. So I love that model because it's kind of like, if you eat, we eat as well. Now, the second type of royalty, let's call it royalty B, is a fixed model. That's a fixed amount of dollars that you pay per month to the franchisor. For example, $500 per month royalty fee. Doesn't matter if you're turning over $1 million. Doesn't matter if you're turning over $1. It's a fixed amount, 500, 800, whatever it is. You get an invoice every single month, and pretty much it's a fixed amount for the lifetime of the franchise agreement. Quite a standard practice as well. I guess it's good in a way where if you as a business, if you're turning over a lot of money, 500 grand or $1 million, you don't have to worry about more going to head office because you've got a fixed amount of $500. But I guess the side or the disadvantage to that is, where is the incentive for the franchisor to help you improve your revenue? Like if you sign up as a franchisee and you've got a fixed royalty fee of $500 per month, is it really in my best interest whether you're turning $1 million or $0? Not really. I'm getting $500 per month regardless of whether you're doing well or not. So there's a bit of a drawback to that. And the third one, let's call it Model C, this is very cheeky, is an alternate between both. So some franchise agreements will say the royalty fee is either 10% or $800 per month, whichever is greater. And that, to be honest, really protects the franchisor, because what it's saying is if you make a lot of money, we get that, 10% of that or whatever the percentage is. Or if you don't make anything, then the minimum is $800, whichever is greater. So it really protects the franchisor in the event where a franchisee isn't performing well. So for example, let's say the royalty fee is 10% or $1,000, whichever is greater. So let's say a franchisee turns over 10 grand in a month, or let's say 20 grand in a month. 10% of 20 grand is $2,000. So head office will get $2,000. But let's say they had a bit of a bad month and revenue wasn't too well, and they only turned over, say, $3,000. 10% of $3,000 is $300. You will get invoiced $1,000 because $1,000 is greater than $300. So if you can see what I'm saying, it protects the franchisor in the event where a franchisee isn't performing well, right? So those are your 3 models. You've either got the percentage-based model on revenue, right? 8%, 10%, whatever it might be. You've got the fixed amount, say $500 per month, $800 per month. And then you've got the hybrid model, either 10% or a fixed amount, whichever is greater, to protect the franchisor, right? So those are the 3 types that franchises use for royalty fees. Now let's talk about point number 3. And this is very interesting. Royalty fee versus marketing levy. So a lot of franchisees get confused between the royalty fee and the marketing levy. But just understand they're two different percentages affecting two different things. The royalty fee is a fixed percentage that you pay based on revenue or fixed or whatever it is. The marketing fee or the marketing, levy is completely different. That's a percentage fee that you pay for the franchisor to do advertisement to get you leads, right? But usually this is a lot lower. So for example, a lot of companies will do an 8% royalty fee. So that's 8% on revenue. So if you make $1,000, what's 8% of that? That's $80. And a 2% marketing levy, right? So they'll charge you 2% on revenue and they use that money to market for you to get you leads. But that's separate, right? So you just got to keep in mind the royalty fee and the marketing levy or the marketing fee is two different things. They're not together. For our business, we've actually combined the both. So we don't charge a marketing levy. We don't charge 2%, 1%, 3% for a marketing levy. We just charge a 10% royalty fee. It's clean. It's easy for our franchisees to understand. And then we invest a portion of that 10% to our franchisees to get them leads. We have a digital marketing agency. We run Facebook ads, Google ads, all of that. But we don't charge a separate marketing levy. It's just too confusing. We just want to keep it all in one. We just bundle it up to 10%. But you might notice a lot of franchise companies do 8% royalty fee, 2% marketing levy, or a 7% royalty fee, 3% marketing levy. Just understand the royalty fee is what goes to the franchisor. They can invest that wherever they want. The marketing levy has to specifically be invested only for marketing. So just understand that. Now, I want to end this live video by talking about common objections that I get. Now, one of the common objections that I get is, look, I'm interested in franchising, but can I reduce the royalty fee instead of paying, 10% royalty fee? Can I pay 7% royalty fee? So there's a bit of a haggling, say, for the royalty fee. Now, the problem with this, guys, and this is something I've learned from my personal experience, because once I did drop it and I never have done that again. The problem is when you create, let's call it sweetheart deals for one franchisee, if another franchisee in the network finds out about this, which they do because franchisees do talk between each other, they're going to be quite upset. And then they're going to come back to you, hey, why did I pay a 10% royalty fee and this person here is paying a 7% royalty fee? And it's a bit unfair, and rightfully so, right? Because if both franchisees are investing the same amount of capital, why should one get a discount in the royalty fee and the other not get a discount in the royalty fee? It creates division amongst the franchise network. So you just got to put your shoes or put your perspective into us. If we're going to give a discount to one franchisee, we're going to give it to everybody else, and that's not really feasible. And what is worse in any franchise network is when the franchisor has favoritism between the franchisees, right? That's screaming a negative culture. So we're super fair. Ours is 10% for everybody. We don't negotiate on that. We don't reduce that on at all. But you just got to understand that if you're trying to negotiate it, think in the perspective of the franchisor. It's not really a good look. So team, that brings us to the end of our first live stream today, where we spoke about royalty fees. Let's go over some quick summary points and takeaway points for you to note. Royalty fees are the most common misunderstood thing in a franchise agreement. You just got to remember, royalty fees is what you are going to be paid or paying to the franchisor for the lifetime of the agreement. So you really need to understand when you're coming into a franchise what the royalty fee structure is. Is it a percentage-based model? Is it a fixed amount? Or is it a hybrid? Because it's going to really affect your profit and loss statement, right? Because it's an ongoing fee that's paid in the lifetime of the franchise, okay? I spoke about in this video what good franchisors do and what bad franchisors do. If you're looking for the right franchise for you, don't just look for the cheapest royalty fee, team. Because I'm telling you right now, if you're looking for the cheapest royalty fee, right, that might mean that the franchisor isn't making much money or they're not investing anything into their business, right? If there is a higher royalty fee, that might be great. That might mean that the franchisor is investing a lot into systems and technologies, improvement and marketing. I've gotten some people come up to me and say to me, Emil, yours is 10%. There's another company doing 8%, right? That 2% difference, it's not about haggling. It's about what is the franchisor doing with that royalty? Is it going all into their back pocket, or are they investing into systems, technology, and marketing? So you need to understand that. Finally, team, just don't confuse royalty fee to be the same as marketing levy. Usually they're separate, right? There's usually an 8% royalty fee and a 2% marketing levy or whatever it might be, but they are separate, right? Team, that brings us to the end of our video where I debunked royalty fees. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you liked it, put something in the comments and I will see you every single Thursday. I'm never going to miss a beat. If I don't do one, it's because I'm dead, knock on wood. Every Thursday, 1 p.m. I did start today a little bit early. Every Thursday at 1 p.m. I will be doing a live stream where I break down a topic in franchising. Never miss it. Set the notifications on. See you in the next one. Adios.